so I'm not sure which part you heard, so I'll just explain to you that we're doing 2 recipes today, and they're both from 5 Plus a Day, which is the nationwide fruit and veggie website. And so this is from one of the websites. They have 4 different seasons for like summer, winter, spring, and autumn. And so we're doing a spring one and a summer one today. So the one we're going to start with is a crustless tomato and eggplant quiche, and you can make a side salad to go with this too. So you'll be able to find these recipes on that website, which the link to that will be sent out afterwards. We also have some other good recipes on the Heart Foundation website, so you can also go on there and have a look. There's a wide variety of recipes too, but I thought the reason why I chose these ones is because they're full of lots of great fresh veggies, and the whole idea of helping to keep our hearts healthy is to eat lots of fruit and vegetables. So the aim is to have 5 plus a day, which is why the website's called 5 plus a day. So yeah, some of these recipes, because we're kind of in that interim time where some of the produce is still coming into season. For example, the courgettes weren't as reasonable as I hoped, but they'll start to get more reasonable as we move closer into summer. So anyway, we'll get started so that we get the quiche into the oven and it's cooked by the time we finish. So I've got my sister here who is going to be helping along doing some cooking. So what we've done is we've got olive oil and some chopped up eggplant. Now I've doubled both of these recipes so that you could have this for dinner and then lunch the next day, or dinner one night and then a couple of nights later have it for another dinner. So if you're cooking a meal, I know it's a bit involved, and so you want to kind of have it for more than one meal. So we've chopped up half an eggplant or a whole eggplant because we've doubled it. So we've already started to cook this for a little bit on the frying pan, but now we'll continue cooking that. So on the recipe, it says to put the eggplant into the frying pan and cook for 10 minutes until it's soft. And then what we're going to do, once that's soft enough, then we're going to add in, this is a capsicum. So again, a whole capsicum, because I doubled the recipe. They called for a red capsicum, but the man in New World didn't have any red capsicum, so I improvised, and this is a green one. And then also some finely chopped spring onions. And so they are going to get put into the frying pan, cooked up. And then when those are ready, we will layer them in the bottom of the quiche pan. And then what I'm going to do now, while you're watching, is we're going to mix up the quiche recipe. So that requires some eggs, and these were not too bad. I got them on special at New World for $5.69 for 6. I know eggs have gone up a lot recently, which is unfortunate, but yeah, when you get them on special, then, and often there is a brand that's on special in the supermarket. So what I'm going to do is so again, we're doubling the recipe. So usually it would be 2 eggs, but I'm doubling it, so we're going to use 4. So we'll break up the eggs into the bowl. Eggs are a great source of protein. So in these recipes, although they're loaded with veggies, we also want to make sure that we're getting good protein in our diets as well. So I did forget to mention that I'm a registered dietitian. So that's partly why I got asked to do this presentation today. I'm not actually a chef at all. In fact, my 19-year-old daughter does a lot of the cooking at home now, but I do enjoy cooking, especially when we're making healthy recipes. So, okay, so that was 4 eggs, and then we're going to add in milk. So again, I doubled it, so that's 1.5 cups of milk. So we mix that in, and then I'll just mix these up with a little. So all of these, everything we're making today doesn't require any kind of fancy utensils, or it's just the basic things that hopefully you would have at home, like this hand egg whisk and bowls and little quiche pans. Actually, this one was, you collect the stickers at New World, and then you get to come away with some cool free pans. Or at the moment, what have they got at the moment? Like frying pans and utensils and...
So it's actually frying pans from there.
Oh, okay. The frying pans from New World, free frying pan. Or it's not, yeah, you've got to collect a lot of stickers for the free frying pans at the moment, don't you? Okay, so we've put the eggs in the milk, and then we'll put in, so this is half a cup of self-raising flour. We'll mix that into it, and then a little bit of salt and pepper. So do you want to throw a little bit of salt and pepper in there for me, my sous chef here?
Not too much salt?
No, not too much salt. We just give this a good mix up. And then, yeah, that's all So in a bowl, we beat together the eggs and the milk, the flour, and a bit of salt and pepper. And then that is going to go, that's going to go over the top of the vegetables once we put those into the pan. So how are we coming along with those? Are we going to throw have you thrown the capsicum in there?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we'll put the capsicum in and the spring onions and give those a little cook for a couple of minutes. And then we just chopped up things before we came online, just to make it a little bit simpler. So we chopped up the capsicum and we chopped up the spring onions, and we're just going to cook those for a couple of minutes into the frying pan, and of course they'll cook more when they're in the oven. And with this particular recipe, so it's my sister's got a gas oven, which does tend to cook things a little bit quicker. It says to cook for 30 to 40 minutes, and after 25 minutes you turn up the heat from 160 to 200. But what we'll do is we'll check it after about 15 minutes, see how it's going, and we might turn up the heat then. And I think the reason for turning up the heat is just to kind of make it that nice kind of, it's got cheese in it, so it just gives that nice cheesy look at the end of the recipe. Now these recipes have all been developed by Nikki Bazant, and she's a registered nutritionist who does quite a few media. She probably does a lot of these kind of things. She's written some books and been on Radio New Zealand a lot, so really qualified and knows her stuff. So yeah, okay, so this is looking nice and ready to go. What's that? Oh yeah, so we've got a little bit of this canola oil cooking spray. So we just spray the pan, or otherwise you could just grease it with a little bit of butter. And this is a quiche that doesn't have any pastry. Oh, that's created a bit of pastry is quite high in fat, as we know, so that's why it's just a healthier option to have it without the...
You want to put a bit of the organ out, or are you okay?
Why did I put tomato? Don't worry, yes. Put it in there. So she's just tipping in the eggplant and the spring onion and the capsicum onto the bottom, and then we'll just spread that around like that. And then what we do is we're going to get the cheese. So that's 1 cup of tasty cheese. So you just want to sprinkle that over there. And then the olives. So we've got some black olives, 2 tablespoons of black olives. So we'll sprinkle those over there. And then we're going to, and then some herbs. So it called for fresh herbs. And so I had a look, when I went into New World, I had a look at the herbs and I decided to get these ones here. Mixed herbs. It was a more affordable way of buying it like this. So you can buy individual herbs, which were per container about $5 each, whereas this is like a variety of different herbs, and they were like $4.50. So I just thought, for versatility, if you're using them for different things, and you can keep these in the fridge. What does it say? Fresh for 4 weeks once opened, so they last quite a long time. So we'll just spread a little bit of fresh herbs over that too. And then do you want to put the sliced tomato over there now? And then we'll get that.
It wasn't that many olives, so people might have said no.
Oh, yeah. So you can, as far as how many olives you put in, we just put 2 tablespoons because that's what the recipe called for. But if you really enjoy olives, then you can chop up some more and put more in. Whatever kind of your taste preference is. So we're just spreading out the tomatoes over the top, and then we're going to put the egg milk and flour over it, and then pop it in the oven.
Can you ask if people have questions?
Oh, okay. And if you have questions, then nice easy ones, then you can type them into the chat and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. If I don't know the answer to any question, then I can always come back and provide the answer via an email or something later. Okay, so that looks like it's ready to... What? Yep. Right, I think that's good to go. We'll get that in the oven now. Okay, so that wasn't too difficult. And that's part of this is about preparing recipes that are not too hard to prepare. So none of that was difficult. It was all just chopping up a bit of stuff and throwing stuff together. So while that is baking in the oven, we're going to move on to the second recipe, which this one's in the spring one and the other one was in the summer one. And this one is called courgette, feta and mint balls. They're not, I'm using mixed herbs, so it's going to be mixed herb balls, which you can, it's said on the recipe, you can use whatever herbs you have. And then we're doing it on kumara noodles. So I'll show you how I did that while I'm preparing it and on a fresh tomato sauce. So what we'll do is we'll grab another bowl, and we're going to, great, thanks. And we'll need one more bowl to do the sauce with too. So for this one, so it's got, again, I've doubled the recipe. So I'm going to grate up the courgettes. Now this is what, unfortunately, they're pricey at the moment. They're $19.99 a kg, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, they will come down in price as the summer rolls in. So we're just going to grate up the courgette. Again, this is a recipe packed with lots of veggies, and it's also got egg and a bit of cheese that we put over the top, but it's also got some feta. So again, we are looking for recipes that do have a source of protein in them. And what's really good about using lots of different vegetables is that means that you get lots of different vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, which are really good for, protecting against cancer and against heart disease. And so the more variety of colours of fruit and vegetables that you eat, the better off that you are. There used to be a saying about eat a rainbow of fruit and veggies. And so that's giving you a really good variety of healthy nutrients. Also full of fibre, good for keeping us regular, and really good for our energy levels because they've got good carbohydrates in them. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the courgettes into this bowl. I just grated those. They were really easy to grate. And then the eggs. Mel, did you have a... We're going to put 2 eggs. Yeah, straight in there. And spring onions. So I chopped those up beforehand, and you just finely chop up the spring onions. And then also flour. So the other recipe had self-raising flour. This one just called for normal flour. If you don't have self-raising flour, just add a little bit of baking powder into the other flour. So yep, we throw in the flour, and then again a little bit of fresh herbs, just like a good decent sprinkle full. And then there is so we've chopped up the feta cheese before we came on the camera. So just like chopped up in chunks. So we'll throw that in there. This recipe does say you could put a pinch of chili flakes, but I'm leaving it out just because the people that are eating it might not want chili flakes. But if you like something with a bit of spice, then you could throw a bit of chili flakes in there too. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we are going to combine this. So have you got like a spoon that we can, and what it says here is you mix it well, and we're going to make this into little balls or like mini fritter types. So what it says on the recipe here is if it's a bit wet, you might need to add a little bit more flour, but we'll just see how we go here. See if it's gonna be okay with the feta gives it that like nice kind of sharp flavor. I had a really yummy combination of asparagus and feta in the weekend at a yummy restaurant that actually Kirsten took us out to. It was delicious. That was a really nice combination, asparagus and feta cheese. They had all sorts of other yummy, it was like a gourmet place. It was like, I'm no master chef. They had kind of master chef type food. It was really delicious. But that was a nice combination. Okay, so I think we might need a little bit more flour just to make it does seem quite wet. So just maybe throw a little bit more in there. Yep. Okay. What's that? Oh, yeah, put the flour on board. Yep. That's a good idea. And so what we're going to do with this is we're going to make this into little balls. So I'll just, have you got like a spoon, like just a metal spoon, like what's one of those is, yep, there we go. Thanks. So we'll just make them up into little balls. Can you see that okay? Just rolling it in a bit of flour just to make it a little bit less sticky. And then what we'll do with these is we're going to put them on a plate. And then we're going to cook these in the frying pan, which I'll get my great sous chef over here to do that while I make up the fresh tomato sauce. So you just want to make sure that each little spoonful has some of that great feta in it to make that nice sharp taste. And what it said on here is, like, say you make this, again, remember I've doubled the recipe, so you could have this, over a few meals. But what you could do is you could have this on the noodle recipe at night, and then they made a suggestion of that you might want to do like a salad the next day and then have a couple of these on top of a salad. So again, it's, can I just have a little bit more flour on the board now? Again, it's, you know, you can make one type of thing and then you can use it in a variety of ways, which is nice because then, you know, it makes the time involved in preparing something, then you can use it in a variety of ways, and then you feel like, oh, that was a really good use of my time, you know, preparing something where you can have it more than just for one meal. So have you got the frying pan?
Yeah, that's all ready.
Do you want to just do summer from last side and then save for this so you can carry on?
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, so we've got enough there for now. I'll just give my hands a bit of a wash. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you can choose to make them into balls or fritters. They might end up looking like fritters by the time we've cooked them, but I'll just leave this over here now while we're just working on that. Okay, and so while my sister's cooking the little balls, we're going to make the tomato sauce. So what is required in this is we're going to use I'll just mix it up in this bowl, and then Mel's going to add it to the frying pan. So have you got the olive oil there? So we're just going to use a little bit of olive oil, which is like a tablespoon. And then I'll put that in there. And then before we came on, I just used fresh garlic and got some, use the garlic crusher. But if you don't have a garlic crusher, you can just finely chop it up with a knife. So we'll just throw that into the bowl. And then we're going to add in tomatoes. So it says 200 grams of tomatoes, which is roughly a couple of tomatoes. So because if you think about it, I mean, if you've got a scale at home, you can measure it out. But if you think about a kilo of tomatoes is usually, well, just depends on the size of the tomato, really. But we ended up cutting up about 2.5 tomatoes. So just throw those into the bowl. We just cut them up in little chunks. And then you can either use red wine vinegar or balsamic vinegar, and that's a tablespoon, or I'm doubling it, so 2 tablespoons. So I'll just throw that into there like that. And then 1 teaspoon of sugar. So I'll put in 2, which is, you know, it's okay to be adding a little bit of sugar into a recipe. It's not like we're using a whole lot. So I'll put that in there. That kind of offsets the strong flavor of the vinegar. And then soy sauce. Now, if you are needing to watch well, we're all needing to watch our sodium intake, but if you are like on a low sodium diet, then you could use low sodium soy sauce. This is just regular soy sauce. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of this, and then we'll mix that up. Now I'll just grab a spoon out of here. So this is like the fresh tomato sauce that goes into the kind of like the sauce that you would put with the balls. And then so I've mixed that all in like that, and then that's going to get, once those little balls are cooked a little bit more. So basically what it says is you drop the balls into the frying pan, you cook them up, turning them until they're golden brown. How are they going over there? Oh, great. Okay, so now we're going to add the, if you want to add the sauce in there. Pardon? Oh, they're more like fritters, which we thought they might flatten out a bit.
They cook better as fritters.
Oh, they cook better as fritters, according to the sous chef. So, yep, throw that in. And then while Mel is doing that, you cook that for a couple of minutes, tossing it gently with the balls. And then I'm going to show you over here. So what I did here was before I came on, well, actually, I'll just drain this off so you can see it better. So we've prepared kumara noodles. So, which sounds fancy, but really all I did, and I'll show you, I just took the peeler and I just peeled just as simply as that. And it just makes it nice and thin. And then we're going to cook those in the frying pan. Once she's cooked up that sauce and that with the balls, then we're going to use the same frying pan and we're going to cook these kumara noodles. And again, it's you could choose to use this recipe and use fresh pasta or dry pasta and have it on noodles. But the awesome thing is about using kumara is that you're getting lots of great vitamin C and fiber and other great vitamins and minerals, and you're adding in a really vegetable full meal. So sometimes it's just trying new things out and seeing that you might not have tried before. And again, you don't need any, I mean, on here it said you could use a potato peeler or a zoodle maker, which I've never heard of, but you don't need those fancy tools. You can just, a simple old potato peeler has worked just fine. So I've done one, I'm not going to do the other kumara. It says one small kumara, but I had one pretty decent sized kumara. So that's all I've used to do the noodles.
Put it in this one tonight.
So is it ready to go? That one. Okay, so that made a good decent amount of noodles there. So we're going to pop that over here. And so what it says is you can actually do this all in one pan if you chose to do that. So if you only have one pan, that it works too. You just take out the balls in the sauce, put them into a bowl, just give your pan a little wipe out, and then add the kumara noodles in again. So it just says add a little bit more oil, and we recommend olive oil because that's a healthy heart oil. And so add a little bit more oil, add in the kumara noodles, and then you toss them for 3 to 4 minutes. And then you add a little bit of water, which makes them sizzle a bit, and you cook them for another 2 to 3 minutes until the noodles are cooked. So they actually don't take very long to cook because we've peeled them quite finely. They're really quite thin and they don't require a lot of cooking. And so once those are cooked, we will take those up on the noodles. So again, this is a fairly simple recipe, which really has all the kind of basic utensils, just the grater, having a grater, a peeler, a frying pan, and your spatula thing. And so nice and simple. And I think that's the whole point of what Nikki Bazant was doing when she prepared these recipes, is that she wanted to make things simple for people, vegetable full but simple. And what's really cool about this is that what she's done is it talks about how to use, so she's got some instructions about how to use this, but also she's done a shopping list. So it's actually in this little handout, there is enough recipes for, I think it's every day of the week in here. Monday, Tuesday, yeah, all the way through to Sunday. So some of the recipes were like salads with chicken on them. So like a Cobb salad, but with a few extra fancy touches. But that's why I decided, well, let's try something that maybe you don't make on a regular basis to give you a few ideas for some different things. But yeah, what's awesome is that, are they ready? Did you? Yeah. She's just going to do a little taste test and make sure they're soft enough. But yeah, so you could, if you wanted to, you could, you know, make your own shopping list depending on what you want to choose. You might want to do all the meals for that week, or you might just want to do some of them for the week. So what would be cool about that is that this has already got the ready-made list for you. So when you're going to the supermarket, you know what to buy. And then she's also got a few breakfast and lunch ideas too in this. So yeah, and there definitely some other ideas like a spring abundance bowl, and you know, it's becoming a little bit more of a trend to have everything in one bowl. So there's things like on the Heart Foundation website, we have things called poke bowls, which you may have had out, where you have a whole lot of different foods added into the same bowl, and then you eat them in combination with each other. So it might be like a protein sauce and some veggies and some nuts and a little bit of like hummus, and it just makes for a really nice combination. Okay, so where are we at? How are we going? Yeah, so we're going to plate it up. So what we might do is just move some of our dishes and put them just out of the way so that we can make things look a little bit tidier, and then we'll plate them up. Has there been any question come through? There's one question. Okay, so
can you repeat it when I tell you the question?
Yep.
How long would it take to prepare this meal with all the chopping?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So how long would it take to prepare the meals with the chopping involved? And actually, so on here, it does say for each recipe, it will tell you the time to make. So with this one, it says 30 minutes. And then with the quiche one, it says 45. Now, I think what she probably means there is, yeah, I would say that probably includes cooking time, because I would say, I mean, there was two of us doing some prep beforehand, but at the most, we probably spent 20 minutes just chopping up some, you know, the different ingredients. So it's not labor intensive. I would say that second meal, yeah, you could have that on your plate in 30 minutes, no problem. The quiche one, because of the cooking time, more like, depending on how quick your oven is, but definitely within 45 to 50 minutes. But most of that prep would only take, you know, about 15 minutes, and then it's the cooking time. So they're not labor-intensive recipes. They've purposefully kept them quite simple. And it does say, so I doubled the recipe. It does say here that if you hadn't have doubled it, it would have served 2 people. It just depends on different people's appetites, but if you were having somebody over for dinner, then or lunch, then you know you've got a recipe that will serve you both. And adding a side salad to anything not only gives you more fruit and vegetables, but it also just kind of completes the meal. So yeah, it's so should we plate it up now? Okay, so we'll just pop. So we've got.
You just want to put the plate here.
Is this the plate?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the kumara noodles. So they actually do look quite a bit like pasta. and they're nice and bright and orange, full of good nutrition. Yeah, that should be good. They only took, less than about 5 minutes to cook. So a lot similar to what fresh pasta is like, when you buy that in the ready-made boxes. And you can buy some fresh, like, vegetables that have been shaped into noodles too, if you didn't want to do them yourself. So here's put a couple on there. And then a bit of the sauce over the top. And then for this one, it suggested a little bit of Parmesan cheese or a little bit of, cheddar cheese. So I've got a little bit of, I think that's good. I've got a little bit of cheese over here. So we'll just sprinkle a little bit of that over the top. And that's the one for this one. And then we're just going to, so how's the quiche looking? And did you turn the heat up on that one?
So right, so I'll show you what it looks like. So it was in for 20, I just put in for a little bit extra.
Okay.
So then I think it's to set it and crisp it up that you put it in for an extra at the 200. Is that right?
Okay. So you're going to put it back in?
Yeah.
Okay. So that one's not quite ready, but this one is ready. So did anybody want to have a little sample? Kirsten, you're lovely. What are you called? What's your role again, Kirsten?
Social connection coordinator.
Social connection coordinator. She is going to sample our dish here, and of course she's going to look like she absolutely loves it.
Laura's asked, how does it smell? How's it smells?
Oh, yeah, it's good. It smells good.
It's like a juice.
Maybe we're beginning to watch me eat. Yum. Good.
Great answer.
That's really tasty.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Good work.
Great. Okay. We've got another senior citizen in the back. Also, my mum decided to come along today. She's not coming on the film though. But we'll let her sample some later on too. Because I think my mum lives on her own too, and it's one of those things where it's just giving you some ideas of ways to do some things that maybe otherwise you might not have thought of, and just to keep your interest up. And what does a new recipe look like? What does something tasty? What vegetables can I add into things that maybe I haven't in the past? And it's really good for me too. Like, I think we live in a society where we need to be reminded about, hey, what can we all do to be looking after our hearts? And and fruit and vegetables are just one of those things that the more we can add into our meals, the better off we'll be. So we at home, we do, like say we're doing spaghetti bolognese, we'll make sure that we're loading it up with, grated carrot and spinach, and we might just buy the frozen spinach out of the freezer and then, throw some of that in. And that's the other thing to remember is it doesn't all have to be fresh. I know that the price of fruit and vegetables has been a lot more. It's gone up a lot, particularly in the last year or so. And so if we are buying other fruit and vegetables that are canned or frozen, that's fine too. With the can, you just want to try and buy those things that are in water rather than a brine, or a natural juice rather than in a syrup if you're buying fruit. And then any frozen fruit or vegetable that's been packaged that doesn't usually have any added salt or sugar in it. So again, it's looking for things that are on special and then utilising, what is more affordable. And again, cooking with seasonal ingredients definitely makes things a little bit more affordable. And there's things like kumara. I know it has gone up in price, but I didn't have to use very much then of that. So that was like, I made one large one, but we still had a little bit, like definitely enough for another meal. And so again, it's one kumara for probably at least 2 or 3 meals. And so it's sometimes thinking about, the cost factor. Sometimes when we buy things initially, it's just thinking about, okay, how can I use this in a way that is affordable? Because then you know that you're getting something more healthy for you. So it's only actually one kumara, which just probably ended up costing about $3 or $4. Or you would spend the same on a bag of pasta, but you're getting a lot more nutrients by having kumara noodles than you would from having pasta ones, because that's just really flour and water. So it's just thinking about innovative ways to eat healthy.
That juice tastes really nice with the balsamic vinegar and the sugar in that, so it sort of makes it into a juice.
Okay.
A smell,
right. So Mel was just saying that fresh tomato sauce with the tomatoes and the balsamic vinegar and the soy sauce, and it was really nice flavor combination. Smelled really good. So Mel did a great job of cooking that on the stove over there. So where are we at with the?
So one thing with that recipe is that it says to put it up to 200. Are you supposed to take it out of the oven at 160 and wait for that oven to heat up to 200, or is it okay to just turn it?
So the question Mel asked is, it says, this is for the quiche, place in the oven and bake for 30 to 40 minutes or until firm to touch and golden on top. After 25 minutes, turn the heat up to 200 degrees. But I don't think that you need to worry about taking it out of the oven. You can turn the heat up, and then the quiche will just continue to cook while the temperature is continuing to increase. And it's really just about giving it that nice golden look on the top. So that's what we're just waiting on in the oven now. I had actually prepared a little side salad to go with the quiche, and then I left it in my fridge at home. So, but you can just use your imagination. And on here it said, have some salad leaves, a small cucumber. They seem to be coming down in price at the moment. Avocado is what they suggested.
99 cents.
99 cents now, the avocados. And avocados are full of really great nutrition because they've got monounsaturated fats, which is the healthy fat that helps lower your cholesterol. So avocados are really good. They're also fibrous, got really good vitamins and minerals. So avocados are a great thing to be having on a regular basis. Fish is also a great thing to be eating on a regular basis. So if you can afford to have fish, once a week, and even if that looks like just having tuna out of the can in some water, got great omega-3 fatty acids, which are really good for our heart. Some other things like sprinkling some nuts onto salads. Nuts have got a great source of, again, that healthy fat that's great for our hearts, and it's not having huge amounts of them, it's just using them as a garnish on things. But again, it's just thinking about the ways that we can add in those kind of things to our diet. Legumes, so things like chickpeas, which you might have in hummus, or kidney beans or lentils thrown into meals that actually make the meal, you get more bang for your buck. They're really reasonable. Great source of protein, great source of fiber and vitamins and minerals. So those are some really good things to have in your diet on a regular basis, which are really great for our heart. So, and just our general overall health. So and some of those things are like beans, kidney beans and chickpeas. Those things are really reasonable. Again, they often come in the can. I mean, you can buy them dry. This takes a little bit longer to prepare them. So just be looking for the ones that are in water versus in the salt brine. Yeah, and then as far as fruit goes, it's just thinking about ways to include fruit in your diet. So if you're having cereal in the mornings, you might have some yogurt and a bit of fruit on it, and then you might have a little bit of fruit cut up after your lunch or dinner meal. So it's thinking about ways that we can incorporate fresh fruit and vegetables over the whole day, and that means that we make sure that we're getting what we need. I'm constantly encouraging my kids to do that too. And it looks like the quiche. Yeah, I think that's looking good. Now, what this might need to rest for a little bit before we cut that up. But yeah, this is what this ended up looking like, and hopefully tastes pretty amazing. And again, you'd probably get, so I doubled this recipe, but you could probably get a good 4 servings out of this particular size dish. So yeah, that's come out well. And what's that? Yeah, we've got plenty of herbs left. So again, you could just pop these back inside that reusable bag and use these because I probably only use a quarter of what was in this bag. So again, you might spend $5, but this might go through to about 6 meals. So it's just how to utilize that stuff.
Good. All right. Well, thank you very much. That was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. We didn't have too many tech difficulties, and I hope you didn't get too sick watching the moving camera. But that's just amazing. The smell has just been incredible throughout the whole kitchen.
Oh, great.
The whole time. So lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For your time and for I'm tempted to do this at home. Actually, I think my wife and kids would love this. Yeah. We'll take some photographs and we'll send them out to everybody. Can they get links to Nikki Bazant's recipes?
Yeah. I'll make sure I pass those along to you, and the Heart Foundation one too, and then they can look at that.
We'll send it out to everybody as well. Yeah. And we'll record this. This has been recorded, so we'll upload it to YouTube and you can watch it again. And maybe you can cook it all at the same time as you're watching YouTube in your kitchen. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining us. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us for the whole season, actually. As I said, this is the last one of the year. It's Seniors Week this week. So make sure you get out and get into a whole bunch of different events that people all over Wellington are running. You can go to the Wellington City Council website. I think we've even got the Seniors Week booklet on our website as well, and you can download it and have a look at all the different events that are happening all week. So including a whole bunch of age concern events as well. So enjoy those and enjoy the rest of your day. Maybe you might need to stay inside for the rest of the day. Hopefully summer will come soon. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again.
Bye.